know you want to write a hook, so boom, get confident, run at it, and write a hook. Um, and when doing that, this sometimes what we can do is we do, then write a wee bit outside of ranges and things. We have to be careful when we're writing these hopefully really memorable lines. Uh, we can sometimes write them a bit too high or a bit too low if we're doing some really cool like DJ drop the beat, and suddenly we're away out of range, or we're going right, or we're way up there, and we've written something that's interesting and familiar and memorable, with great rhythm and intervals and everything, but it's you come to cut it, and it's like, oh, we're in a different octave and stuff. So just be aware of that. Don't go, it's not an entirely separate part of a song. Sometimes people stick them on and they're way up in a different part of the range for the singers. So just be careful. Make it part of the song. Is a better way actually of putting that. It's kind of in a comfortable range, but also part of the same song, not an add-on. We can do that with post choruses as well. Sometimes they're a little bit added on. Try and let them relate to the rest of the song. Make them be part of, even if they're oohs. In some way, let them be a reflection of the rest of the song. So what makes a hook or catchy melody? I put this in intentionally because I'm repeating what we've already been through, and it's for a reason. It's because you already know what I'm about to say. That's the same in songs. Repeating stuff in songs feels good. It's the tension and release of leaving home and arriving back to home. So when we hear something over again, we're comfortable and it feels really good. It satiates us. It kind of answers that suspension that we've been feeling in areas that we're not aware of what's coming. So repeating it makes it stick. The contrast from previous sections, that this is so worth repeating because it is often so under valued or ignored, actually forgotten about. You kind of write a song and you've written your verse and you've written your verse and then your pre-chorus and you're going up, but you've not made any production contrast, you've not made any rhythmical contrast, perhaps not even a lyrical contrast really. It's not flipped. You've not started to make your way out of the verse towards the chorus. You're not making that, bridging that nice ramping gap up to the chorus. So contrast is hugely, hugely important. Really, really think about it, both in strumming patterns on your guitars, dropouts. Create tension and release and drama. That's even in the most intimate stuff. You listen to Billie Eilish, the Future song at the moment, and how much tension and gorgeous release there is in that song, yet it's so intimate and close. So this isn't about just binary black and white. It's kind of just a really lovely way to make songs blossom and then fold back into themselves. So and then again repeat. This is again that Billie Eilish song is a lovely example for this. It's just when you come back to "I'm in love with my future," it feels so lovely to get back there. So repetition is absolutely key here. I come from a indie singer-songwritery background where kind of feeling as though you were being told how to write a song or that there was any rules or any formula was the kind of punk ethos would have had me spit and rip up any idea of a document on this. That's not the case. This is more of a human nature thing. This is more what tastes good. Of course we're there to experiment and push and write within these lovely almost physical and natural laws, but familiarity is a tool that we cannot avoid. And no matter how cool you think, oh, I don't want to repeat it, I'm not the chorus can change, or I'm not going to repeat the verse melody on verse 2. Well, okay, but be prepared for losing connection with your listeners. And I don't necessarily mean, sometimes people think that means that we're talking just about commercial success. I'm talking about expressing myself emotionally and have someone hear it and feel it too. Now that will result in commercial success, but if it's only one person, then that familiarity of melody repeating in verse and verse 2, of course this is condensed massively into hooks. That familiarity of hooks and that catchiness is actually an emotional lance. It's like a sword right to the heart, where you just can really grab people. You've got them in, and your message therefore is communicated so much more clearly. So returning to a melody, it feels familiar and comforting. It's tension and release, and the contrast in the preceding section. I talked so much about this contrast, but the contrast in the preceding section, hence pre-choruses, that contrast is really just a kind of setting up. It's almost like taking the dome off the plate in the posh restaurant. Boom, off it comes, and there's the chorus. So it's a lovely way to introduce a section where there'll be hooks. Can be hooks throughout songs, but more often than not, you'll have your biggest hooks in and around the chorus. So the contrast in the preceding section will really add texture and taste to that, and set it up for you. So developing your melody. This is something that as I've said, I used to think, because music quite rightly feels and indeed might come from a place beyond our understanding at points, sometimes it would lead me, I believe now wrongly, to not want to mess with it. I speak for myself here. I was wrong. I think I would have written better songs earlier had I started crafting what had come from my heart. You will have anyone that's listened to me talk before, hear this very frequently from me about the importance of writing from the heart. Really have something to say. That might be DJ turn it up, but it might also be about someone you've just lost, so that's a full spectrum. I'm just saying, what's your truth? Say that. But when you have and you've poured that out, you can watch the other webinars. That if you're interested in me talking about that, then the other webinars go into great detail about that. But once you have that, then really do craft from your head. Use this stuff that we're talking about, that Martin talks about, that Shelley and Jeff and all the other mentors on the Songwriting Academy talk about. Really dig in. And that kind of idea of the first thing it was and somehow it's unpolluted, and therefore it has some magical quality. Yeah, but it can be embellished and improved. It's magical because it came from you and it didn't exist before, but we can improve on it. So your first idea is a start, not a finish. So what I really like doing is I'll sing just from my heart, and I've got my idea, and I'm very much writing from an emotional place. So I'm talking to someone, really, or I'm talking about someone to someone else. That's where I am when I'm writing songs. So therefore, that melody that comes out of me will be a sort of a carrier, really, for the emotion. Once I have that, and I might like it, but once I have it, I get it out of my mouth and I get it under my hands on a piano, or if you play guitar or any other melodic instrument, and I actually play that melody. I play that melody on an instrument, and then I develop it. So I think, oh well, wait a minute, I'm saying da 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 da, and then I'll just change. I think, oh wait a minute, I could go da 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 da, and I'll start moving the odd note, and I just always find a more engaging melody. Doesn't need to be fancy. This doesn't mean that I'm suddenly away into lots more notes and fancy pants stuff. It just means that there'll be more tension, more release, just more of my inner ear having time melodically to indulge itself, rather than just my heart where I'm writing lyrically and emotionally and creating a song. I want my melodic capacity to really come alive here. I've got it, under my hand on the piano, and I can start developing that melody.